What's going on? Back to working on the S13 1JZ car that I'm building for a customer. So I got a lot of shit to get done on this. Need to finish up the tube rear, mount the fuel cell, battery, fuel pump back there, finish welding up the cage, and I just need to make the wheel intrusion bars and weld those in. Hydro e-brake needs to be welded in and installed. 5-lug needs to be installed with the dual rear calipers. Sideways fab dual rear caliper brackets. What's up? Need to make the modded knuckles for this car, as well as the A86 cart. So I'm going to do both of those at the same time. I need to do the wiring harness, if I didn't already say that. Intercooler piping, some radiator hoses, vacuum lines, whatnot. Z-brakes up front, and A-pillar gussets. Very small A-pillar gussets, which is pretty cool. I always like them when they're a little tiny. Boom. With my Cheerios box. So, just about like that. Gonna cut those out of some 16 gauge steel, drill some holes, dimple dye that, and weld them in. My nose is a little stuffy right now, so I apologize. So first thing first, I'm making a battery box to go for the tube, to go in the tube rear. So I cut these out, too big, too little, and I'm gonna cut the 45, and this is gonna be the little bottom square that the battery sits in. And then I'm gonna have to mount this and make some kind of strap that holds the top of the battery down into this box. But for now, I'm just gonna cut that and then weld it all together. So I switched the design up from what I originally intended, and I welded in the top bars, and then the lower loop bolts in. So to drop the fuel cell, you drop it out through the bottom. No big deal. I put it as far forward as I could, and then these are gonna have AN lines coming off to a fuel pump somewhere down in there. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting the battery here or just in a battery box somewhere in the back seat or something. So I'll figure that out. But now I'm going to weld the hydro e-brake in, and got to weld these in. So here's the mounting area for the e-brake. I had to push it over a bit because the way his seat was, but pulls straight back. Gives you good room for the steering wheel and the shifter, and then switches will be right there on that panel. So now I'm going to make the A-pillar gussets. Boom, boom. I started with this template that I made, and then traced it onto some maybe 14 or 16 gauge steel, and cut that out with the bandsaw. And now trace the center line, which is not actually the center line because it's a curved surface, but it's roughly the center line, and I'm going to drill a bunch of holes in it and do some dimple dyes. So after you drill a bunch of holes, then next we dimple dye it like that. And for the little dimple dyes on the thin sheet, I literally just drop it in, set it on the anvil, and whack it with a hammer. Way easier. So here's the A-pillar gussets welded in, and I like them because they're really small. I don't like when people have really big ones because it blocks your driving view, and that's dumb. So make them small if you can. And then I whipped up this quick ECU mounting bracket to put the ECU about there-ish. And then I'm gonna see how stable it is and maybe add another one down there on the side. But this might do it by itself. So here's the ECU mounted right there. And now this is the igniter mount. And I'm going to put that right about there. Whichever one's the top, I don't know. I think like that. Boom. Bolt that right there, so then both of those are fairly accessible. And I'm going to just cut this in half right there because I only need one bolt. It's just a fucking igniter. And there's that piece all simplified and painted the cut edge so it doesn't rust. And that'll go just like that. Back to working on this. A lot of the footage from earlier in this video was from a while ago, and I totally slacked on finishing this video and everything. So right now I'm going to show you a bit of the progress that I did off the video, and we're kind of getting back to this in between working on that. I missed the deadline for this, but it's not a huge deal because the customer is going off to Spain, I think, for studying abroad, which is really cool. Shouts out you for doing school stuff, unlike me who dropped out of college. Not high school, I'm not that dumb. So yeah, I'm gonna show you where we at right now. The e-brake is welded in, and the line is ran to the dual rear brake calipers. Shouts out me at Sideways Fab for the dual rear caliper brackets. Wiring harness is placed in the car and roughly ran. It's gonna have a lot more of those guys holding it in place, but for now it's, you know, just fairly loose so I can run everything. All of these wires just need a little bit of cleanup, and then I just need to run this purple wire, which is tangled. Purple wire goes over to the brake pedal and then back over here somewhere, don't remember exactly. Kill switch is mounted there in the FD legal spot. And then the battery power wire comes up to the kill switch, and then the kill switch goes to the starter, alternator, starter, and power supply right here. Power supply and all of these loose wires go over to this sweet fucking panel that I made, and a bunch of boom, main, start, fuel lights, fan wipers, and then turn signals. It's a momentary toggle switch, which is pretty cool. And I mounted it sideways, pretty much just so you can, you know, change lanes without being a complete douchebag. And then I don't know if I showed it previously. If you're seeing this, then I probably didn't. Otherwise, I cut it out. I did all the intercooler piping. I didn't like the stuff that came with the 1J swap that I bought, so I just made my own. A lot less couplers, a lot more solid. I'm a little concerned with wheel clearance on this, but I think it should be fine. If it's not, then I'll just modify it. But this side's totally good. And then he dropped off some wheels, picked up some ambit wheels. So I need to throw some tires on there, and then she'll basically be rolling. Now back here, I got the battery tray mounted up. A little plate there to hold that, and then I'm gonna make one gusset to go from this corner down, just to make that a little stronger. I got some 1/4-inch plate and cut these out to mount the drift armor rear bash bar, and then just, you know, welded them in. Since he already had this, I figured why not make it useful. And then if he ever bashes it or anything, he could just bolt up a new one. Nice and simple. Definitely a lot more convenient than having to get a new custom-built bash bar, I'd say. And then we got Z brakes all around. 26 millimeter aluminum front calipers, and then dual calipers in the rear. Swag. And if anybody has a front windshield for an S13 in the Colorado area, hit me up because I need one. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Sorry I suck at keeping up with the YouTube, but this is going to be 3 for 3 in a row videos, I think. Sort of a little late on this one versus the last two, but whatever. And then I'm going to be getting you an update on that one maybe tomorrow, if you're lucky, if you're really nice. And you like this video, I guess? If you want.